21 years, the Bears can say they are Missouri Valley champions, and the students storm the floor.
I'm actually getting ready to get into a PhD program to become a counseling psychologist, dealing with athletes, administration, and families, just to jumpstart my career and transition to something different other than basketball. But that's what I'm back in Philadelphia currently, and just about to be applying for schools and getting ready for that journey.
I'm currently in Bologna, Italy. I'm finishing up a 2-week quarantine here before I can hopefully join my team next week. In training camp in the mountains a couple hours away. Going into my 9th season, playing abroad overseas. It's been a blessing. My family's doing well. Everybody is healthy. Everybody's doing well. So I'm just trying to keep this game of basketball rolling as long as I can, and stay in touch with my brothers as long as I can as well.
Shockingly, I'm still playing, entering my 10th season professionally. This will be my 5th year in Japan. I played in 4 continents now, 9 countries. So somehow trying to, like Kyle said, keep this ball bouncing for a couple more years, and that's pretty much it.
Doing good. Everything's going well. I'm still playing too. And hooping it everywhere. So I just got my new controller, but so like on 2K, I'm still rolling and everything. But no, I'm happily married. I'm up in Kansas City area, my hometown. I got my little 4-year-old boy who's just now starting to get into playing ball, and so loving life, and everything's going well. Still talking to some of the guys. I mean, I haven't talked to Nate or Isaiah in a few years, but I mean, most of the guys I still somehow talk social media and everything, and even Coach Martin. But everything is going well.
So right now, I'm back in Mississippi right now. I'm probably about to transition and move to Houston. I'm thinking about either Dallas or Houston. I just actually started a trucking company. So that's been wearing me out. Cal knows about everything because I talk to him a lot about everything. So it's been wearing me out. But that's what I'm doing right now at the moment.
I'm in Eldon, Missouri. I just over the spring, actually, I got a new job. I'm a girls' high school basketball coach here. First year will be this year. I'm going in my 8th year as a speech language therapist. So I'll still be doing that, but moving schools. And then my wife, married, got a 3-year-old daughter, and just very blessed.
Currently, I'm at Southeast Missouri State University, entering my 3rd year, assistant coach. Just working along at that and building my family, my wife, and we have 4 kids, the triplet girls, and Caden, who will be 5 next Friday. So just building the family.
Great to see everybody here. I haven't talked to a lot of you guys in a long time. I'm back home in Washington, Missouri, with my wife and my 2 kids, the 1.5-year-old twins, Luke and Hannah, and then just working. I'm a project manager for one of the GCs here in St. Louis, so keeping me busy between all that.
To me, 10 years feels like a long time. The details are a little fuzzy around the edges, but like I remember the summers, like going out on the football field at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. You could see the heat waves coming off the field, doing the stadiums, doing the sprint, like the grind in the weight room, the grind in off season that went into it. It just made it all that more special when we actually won the Valley.
I think the 2011 year, I think we came in with a different swagger, like that whole year, like even from the beginning. I know I struggled with the 2010 year, but as I came in the 2011 year, you can just see each individual, especially all the seniors, and even Kyle, I got to include Kyle in that. And it was just something different. It's like we knew exactly what we all needed to do to be successful. And it was more of a brotherhood. It's like we held each other accountable. The practices every day was competitive. Me and Adam going at it, Kyle and Will going at it, Caleb and Z going at it, Nate fighting for minutes, and Jermaine doing what Jermaine do and bringing his heart ahead every day. But that's what I can remember the most, like practice and really going at it with each other.
I'll throw in there. I think like kind of like feast state. I think the special thing about that team was just we knew that we were good. and we expected to win. I remember going into Wichita State. You know, that's a place where people don't often win games, and we were able to get a win there. And I remember Adam and me walking off the court, just knowing that we were good and expecting to win against, you know, in places like Creighton and at Wichita State. It was just so fun being a part of a team like that, and the swagger and and like it all happened in practice, man. We as Coach Martin's famous for, you know, his preseason practices, and that definitely turned us into the type of team that we were.
Probably the Creighton game at home. It was a battle. Obviously, they had Doug McDermott, coached well by Greg McDermott. But we had to come back in that game. It took a few dives on the floor from I remember Nafis and Jermaine diving on the ball at half court. I remember the game ended, we won, and Coach Martin was just going through the line with emotion. So he was shaking hands and then pumping up the crowd, shaking hands, then pumping up the crowd. He was just so excited. And that along with the Northern Iowa game when Kyle Weems hit the game-winning shot, I think those really ignited and kept our season going.
Tennessee. I say the Tennessee game, in my opinion, to play against an SEC school, and I think we only lost by 4 or 6 points at their place too. I think that said a lot, and a lot of people don't know that we had like three players at the time that were battling stomach viruses or something, including like Nafis, that we didn't even know if they were going to play. Nafis, I think Caleb was one, and it may have been one other. It may have just been those two, but I know it's 2 or 3 of them. But I thought that was a big game, and to see Tobias Harris, I knew a little bit about him coming in. I knew Kyle knew a lot about him just being in that circuit. To see them battle, that was, I think, in my opinion, that was like a turning point early on in the season for us.
We just battled. And to go along with what Jermaine said, just getting that confidence to go against an SEC team like that. And then, in my opinion, every single road game, it doesn't matter what road game it was, we struggled my sophomore year, these guys' junior years, me and Z's sophomore year, and even before Nate got there, we struggled to get road wins. But that camaraderie that we built in the off season, those 6 a.m. Friday morning workouts, bringing in recruits, all the little things, just hanging out off the court, that all came together. And every single road game, man, was special. And then when we started getting those wins after putting that work in at Wichita, at Northern Iowa, at Creighton, it was special. And, I just always remember the celebrations in the locker room afterwards, throwing water everywhere, being loud during the shower. Just that's something that I will never individually forget for the rest of my life, because it's, you put all that work in. And we knew we were tough at home, but to take that on the road and finally accomplish what we wanted to accomplish, that was special.
I'll kind of jump in, with that team being such a veteran team, everybody here is seniors or juniors, and then being the new guy kind of on the squad, it was a real eye-opener when I walked on campus in June, and the level of intensity that I had to raise my game to. I remember going against Jermaine pretty much was my matchup every day in practice, and just getting whooped every day in practice until I was able to hold my own a little bit better. So that was a big part of the season for me. And then whenever Kyle hit the game winner at Northern, I think that might have been our first road win in the Valley that year. And it's kind of like, all right, this is going to be something special.
Kind of going back to, Mark junior year to our senior year. I mean, we went out as winners our junior year, winning the CIT, so it was a little different. But for some reason, that offseason, it gave us, going to workouts and weightlifting and everything. We were looking forward to going to it rather than after losing games, maybe having a losing season or something. It's like, man, another workout. Man, we got to go to weights. It's kind of complaining. This is like, oh, yeah, let's go, let's do it. We pushed each other and pushing each other. It was more to look forward to going in our senior year. And I think that did help with kind of our swagger. And at the same time, the camaraderie that we had with everybody, whether we all hung out together or the different little groups that everybody kind of hang out, by the end of the night, by the end of the day, we were all together as one, meeting up and hanging out and having that chemistry kind of off the court too, which then piggybacks off the on the court. So, obviously Wichita State's probably my all-time favorite game, beat Wichita State, but like Will said, beating Wichita at Wichita was probably just as sweet.
Yeah, everybody's kind of hinted at the offseason workouts, but a team like that doesn't happen in just that one season. Like that, I'll never forget. I think it was before a lot of your guys' time there. Adam and Kyle, maybe, and Z. But that first year when Coach Martin got to campus, I have never. I don't know what Navy SEAL training.
You've never hated life. You've never hated life.
Yeah. Every morning you wake up and you are scared of your day and what it's going to be like. Practices were that hard. I used to wake up and just literally be worried that I was going to make it to sleep that night. It was so hard, but it made you. It made a man out of you, and I think, our senior season was a product of all that work that we put in beforehand, because it was not for the faint of heart.
I remember coming in my junior year with those workouts, those individuals, there's 4 of us on the court at the time. Whatever group was in front of you, the next group coming in, like, what you guys do? What you guys do? Like, was it hard? Like, we were that scared. I used to shake. Like, I was that nervous coming into those workouts, like shaking, nervous because of just, man, how hard it was. And then they put the towel over the clock so you can't pace yourself.
Yeah.
You don't know how much time is on the clock. Then they're yelling at you and stuff all the time. And I remember making a joke about it because I came from a military school saying, I feel like I'm still there. Yeah. I don't think people know, because we took on certain roles because we all wanted to win, that Feast could have been our leading scorer, Adam could have been a leading scorer, or Will could have been a leading scorer, like during the whole season, if we wanted to be that selfish. But I just think, like, it's kind of like Feast said and everybody else said, we just wanted to win. Like, we just knew where our ceiling was, and we knew we were way better than that. Like, we knew we had to compete every night. And I think we were like preseason 1 or 2 to start the season. Yeah. So that's a lot to come in. Your preseason 1 or 2. You know what I mean? You got to try to live up to that hype.
I think about that year all the time, and it's definitely helped mold me into what I am today. But it goes back to what you said. One thing that I always wanted to do when I was there, and even up until this day, I always want to give credit to my teammates, because they made my life easy. They really did. I don't necessarily think I got a ton of double teams, but when I did, I mean, it's Adam's knocking down a 3, Jermaine's getting a dunk, Will's getting a duck in, Nafis is orchestrating the show, and so on and so forth. So, the film speaks for itself in that sense, but a lot of people don't understand the unselfishness of my teammates and what they were sacrificing during that time. As well as my coaching staff as well. And like Jermaine said, anybody on that year, on that team, could have been a leading scorer in the starting 5. And that's the honest truth. Anybody, if we would have made them the focal point, they would have been a leading scorer. So for me, it was just a blessing to have 4 humble guys that were we guys and not me guys, and then saw the bigger picture, as well as pretty much all average double figures is kind of unheard of, even to this day. So it's been a blessing to be able to experience that year with them. I haven't experienced anything like that up until this point in my basketball career. There's been an extreme amount of unselfishness on my teams, but nothing like that year. And I'm forever grateful for what those guys sacrificed for me to be able to do what it was that I did individually, but more so for the greater good of the team and create history for our university.
Like Weem said, I think, and it's not just people saying this, but I think the specialist thing about that team was the fact that truly nobody cared who was the star of any night. I would have gladly averaged 0 points a game if we could have won, the championship and got to the tournament. Like, we all had one goal, and everybody was willing to put, their egos aside. And there's some egos on that team, absolutely. But at the end of the day, getting a championship was the biggest thing. And I still haven't been a part of a team like that to this day, so it was special to be a part of.
That year, Adam Leonard, Will Creekmore, Jermaine Mallett, those guys surrounded Weems perfectly. They worked hard. They understood, where the ball needed to go at certain times. Everybody was on the same page. Everybody was getting in the gym together. And it just built a culture that just couldn't be denied. And obviously we didn't get to the ultimate goal, but everybody was on board, from the young guys to the seniors, and it just made for a great year.
I knew once the ball left my hand, I was getting to where it was going. So you got 3 shooters or 4 shooters shooting 40, 35, high 35%, 36, 37%. My job is easy. I just got to get the ball where it's going. And I know those guys shoot with no conscience.
It's kind of like Will said, right? It was just all about a championship, and that's what we wanted. And it really, I think the biggest person on our team that pushed us the most, and he doesn't get the credit he deserves, is Keith Pickens, is because he didn't play that year. But, man, the year before at practice, and Adam can attest to this, he made Adam who Adam Leonard is, man. Keith's defense and his just intensity and just being on the bench and just a great teammate, just being a great teammate. He made, I guess, in my eyes, he kind of made the team, you know, who we are. Like, he gave us, like, this certain type of identity, because Keith was the type of player to pick up full court, or he can just basically whatever you needed him to do with his athleticism. And just all of that, you know, combined together. I mean, players on teams, on winning teams, are going to get individual awards, but I think it just goes back to the team success, and those just want to, you know, play together and play the right way.
We just kept working, and it wasn't just myself. Everybody kept working. And again, I think we just had that grind so hard that we knew how to win. We knew what it took to win. And, you know, whether we had an off day, if one of us, 2 of us had an off day, there was guys like Nate and Isaiah coming off the bench to fill in and do their jobs. And Coach Martin knew exactly kind of, you know, how to play each person's role and make a team like ourselves just continue to win and have that mentality of just going out there and doing what we possibly can to beat those teams. So